If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Well, as I regularly do, I try to make a question and answer video, about once a month, every couple of weeks or so. So the other day I made a video where I talked about trusting your gut. Carolyn just wasn't feeling good about the situation around her. So we start packing up and leaving. The first thing is I want to suggest is make sure you watch the entire video. A lot of people commented and asked questions that were in the video, but you could tell that they didn't make it to the end of the video. My videos are 7.5 minutes long and I keep them short so you have an opportunity to actually hear all of it without having to, drag on for hours. Somebody asked me why I didn't have an emergency gas budget, which is an interesting idea. I have an emergency fund, it's very large, but my gas budget is $160. And somebody said, why don't you have an emergency gas budget in case you have to move because of these situations where, bad things happen and you got to pick up and leave? Well, it's a very interesting idea, and I really thought about it for a minute, and then it occurred to me, what difference does it make? You're going to run out of that money also. So what's the difference whether I take it from the emergency fund or the gas fund? I have to pay it back. So if you really think about what's happened to us is we've been forced to move 3 times in 1 month. Well, maybe a little bit more in a month. So this really cut into our gas budget. I would say it almost doubled it. So I'm still going to have to take money from somewhere. This is important. As much as you have to move being a nomad, it's a constant struggle trying to make up the revenue from your budget. Gas is probably the most inexpensive thing there is when it comes to moving. Wear and tear on the vehicle, it's hard for me to really explain how critical your vehicle is. The vehicle is a wonderful tool. It's great when it works, but when it doesn't work, the world becomes very big. My water pump blew out of my car. I was a businessman. I was traveling for business, and it went out. And it's middle of winter, Wisconsin, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. The world just becomes this gigantic place that was real small at one moment and then unimaginable the next. So every time you start that key, you're wearing out your vehicle. Another thing you want to think about is oil changes. You can't do oil changes in the natural forest. I've said this a lot. So that means you have to take it in to get it done. And I've seen other YouTubers talk about having to take their vehicles in to get the oil change done. I have to pay $80 for oil. My oil lasts 6,000 miles. If I'm constantly driving, I'm going to be changing oil all the time. Well, that's got to come out of the budget also. Right now, we're in this tire crisis. We're having to replace tires. And, the tires last 40,000 miles or whatever it is. Well, if you're driving, you're wearing those tires out. You're just wearing everything out in your car. So all your maintenance cost goes up every time you have to move. So just keep that in mind when we talk about having to move because of an emergency. Emergency moves are extremely costly. Now, somebody suggested, why don't we just go to a Walmart when we have to leave? And that way we can figure out what our game plan is. Well, as anybody has watched our channel for any length of time, we don't go to Walmart. We don't think it's the right thing to do. We just have an ethical issue about it. I recognize Walmart says you can come there, but in the end, to me, it seems like, if I was going to go live in a Walmart parking lot, then why not just go back to a house? It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I understand what you're saying. This was an emergency. I can go to Walmart. I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to get in that habit. And I think it would be very easy to get in the habit of doing. Secondly, there's a lot of nomadic rules. I mean, these aren't written down or anything, but there's rules that you really need to comply with when you are staying in a Walmart parking lot. Don't set up your generator. Don't set up your stabilizers. When you go to a Walmart parking lot, there's things I still would need to do that would be in violation of these nomad rules. And I don't want to violate rules. Now, I tell you, a lot of people get very upset that I lock my generator up to the front wheel of my truck. People get so upset about that. Wow, if you got to leave in a hurry, boy, that thing's really going to be a problem for you. Well, it's not that big of a problem. It takes me like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, a minute to unlock the chain, pull the chain out, and I'm gone. But Gene on the road pointed out that a lot of nomads bring everything out. Their carpet, their They plug in, they got water hooked up, they got sewer hooked up, they got electric hooked up, they got their awnings out. So all these things would have to be disconnected, or you just going to rip them off. Well, people say, well, just get in your truck and go. Well, that's fine, but what if you got a Class C or a Class A where it's all self-contained? There is a balance between safety and enjoying the lifestyle. And I don't think a lot of people connect all the dots when we talk about the lifestyle. You know, we come out here to enjoy ourselves, but then we're always on the run because we're running away from bad people. Well, my balance is I'm going to lock the generator up to the truck so I can feel secure that the generator isn't going to be stolen in the middle of the night when I wake up and I can't start the generator and I have no electric. Now, another question that was asked about it was, I said I was going to have to dump out my water. I got 40 gallons of water. You know, that's up there near, well, actually I got, I guess, 45 gallons of water. So that's up there around near 400 pounds. And a lot of people say, why wouldn't you just take it with you? Which, if you watched the video, we decided we were going to take it with us, but my initial reaction was I was going to dump it out. This, I think, is a real problem for nomads, and one that is just not talked about by anybody but me. Weight in your vehicle is the #1 killer of your vehicle. If you overload your vehicle, you are going to destroy it. There's a sticker on the side of the door, on the frame on the driver's side, that tells you how much weight you're allowed to have in your truck. Now remember, that's your human weight, all your stuff, all of it. And anything you've added on has to be calculated. Mine's 1,400 pounds. I can carry 1,400 pounds. Well, without water, I'm at 900 pounds. So that means I can put water in the truck and I still have 100 pounds left over. Well, I don't weigh my truck every day. So there may be extra weight in there that I'm not really thinking about. So it's better for me to dump out most of my water. I usually only carry about 15 gallons of water when I'm driving. If you start going around carrying a bunch of weight for endless miles, you're going to wear out your tires a lot quicker, your transmission, and your brakes. Thanks for watching. Like if you like the video, and happy travels.